If there is one series that has always felt like a roller coaster ride, it is Assassin's Creed. Ever since Ezio's story ended, most entries have either hit great heights or plummeted to worrying lows. Still, that has allowed Ubisoft to constantly experiment to try to find the right middle ground for a franchise that needs to progress but also embrace what made it so memorable. In that sense, Assassin's Creed Shadows does it perfectly. It has the most enjoyable gameplay of the series and caters to both old and new fans. Compared to previous Assassin's Creed titles, I would say that the story of Assassin's Creed Shadows is quite good. First of all, the feudal Japan setting is something that people will instantly love. For those who like history, there are many historical figures that make an appearance, such as Oda Nobunaga or Hattori Hanzo, and a few others that I cannot mention because of spoilers. Between all of these things, you have the usual Templars versus Assassins conflict, which again I cannot mention a lot because of spoilers, but it is handled pretty well. If you stick to the story only, you'll have between 40 to 50 hours of playtime, but that is almost impossible because of the open world format. Since you'll be going from point A to point B in a huge map, you'll likely spend between 80 to 90 hours just to have a normal playthrough. In truth, the story is good, and that is because of the two protagonists approach. You have Naoe, the ninja fueled by revenge, and Yasuke, the samurai in a strange land with a mysterious past. Both of the stories are quite intriguing, and the more you delve in them, the more interesting they get. Overall, I would say the story of Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the most enjoyable in the franchise. There are a few inconsistencies here and there, but nothing too bad that will ruin the story for you. Also, I would recommend doing at least 2 playthroughs because playing with canon mode and without canon mode changes things drastically. In canon mode, for example, you already have the story pre-established for you, similar to the old days of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood Revelations, and so on. If you play without canon mode, you can choose all the dialogue options, and actually some of them change drastically. In terms of gameplay, Assassin's Creed Shadows shines in every single aspect. For starters, I was very surprised to see how different Naoe and Yasuke were. Naoe embodies the stealth that has made the franchise so famous, but actually makes it even better. There isn't a lot of emphasis on social stealth, but I actually prefer it more that way. I love using Naoe to jump from rooftop to rooftop just to hide around, or even find new hiding spots like boxes, tall grass, or other places that you can use to ambush your enemies. On the other hand, Yasuke brings a more action-oriented gameplay. Yasuke, for instance, is terrible at sneaking. However, he's excellent at chopping heads off and it never gets old. Yasuke also has more weapons than Naoe, which makes sense because he's always gonna be fighting instead of sneaking around. Of the two gameplay styles, I would say that I enjoyed both of them equally. Whenever I wanted to sneak around and maybe try a new way to infiltrate a fort, Naoe was perfect for it. She has so many tools and abilities that make the stealth part so fun and actually one of the best that I've seen in the franchise. But whenever I got tired of sneaking around, it was nice to swap to Yasuke because he's also great at combat. There are so many items and weapons that can actually change how Yasuke feels when fighting. Some of them let him parry unblockable attacks, some others let him heal himself by just hitting enemies, and it's just so nice to see how customizable Assassin's Creed Shadows is for both playstyles. But if you only like one particular playstyle, you can stick to it. There isn't any punishment if you want to play as either of them. Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't only a highly customizable game, it is also approachable and most of all adaptable, which is rare to see nowadays. When it comes to the open world, many people might be worried about it being too bloated like the one in Valhalla. However, I felt that Assassin's Creed Shadows had an open world that had purpose in every corner of the map. There are still many icons on the map, a lot of viewpoints you have to unlock, and many side activities that might get repetitive after many hours. However, they are not as cluttered as in other open world games, and this is something that I loved. The map is huge, and actually you can spend minutes riding around without even facing one enemy or seeing one activity, which again, for me it is good. Also, whenever you want to do any of those activities, you can mark them on your map, and when you do them, you'll get knowledge points which are required if you want to level up your skills or get new skills. Another thing that makes the open world so interesting is the change of seasons. Beyond the pretty looks and the new color palette, seasons also bring several gameplay additions. For example, when playing during spring and summer, grass is going to be higher, which lets Naoe sneak better around certain places. During winter, however, there will be a lot of snowstorms that will provide Naoe with cover even during the day. Overall, I would say Shadows has the most gorgeous open world we have seen since Odyssey, but also the most meaningful we have seen in recent modern Assassin's Creed titles. In terms of performance, I would say there's a lot of optimization in the works here. I have a mid-range PC and it never gave me any issues when playing. I used the game's benchmark tool before starting and it showed me that my frames would fluctuate between 57 to 65, and that is exactly what I got. The best thing about Assassin's Creed Shadows is how it combines the old with the new. Naoe embodies the stealth and the slickness of assassins in the series and even enhances it with new additions. Yasuke brings the over-the-top combat that many like from previous entries. Both of them are the perfect force as a duo. Assassin's Creed Shadows is what you get when you combine the best of many eras in the franchise. As a longtime fan, I can only hope the bar stays this high. Shadows has also proven that a series that is about to turn 20 years old can still evolve in the right direction and bring exhilarating moments paired with top-notch gameplay. For that reason, we score Assassin's Creed Shadows with a 9 out of 10. As always, remember to like and subscribe and visit thenerdstash.com for everything about gaming.